Hi guy, Artemis is Preganer here, and I stopped at my friend's Dru Blair here, and his new, well, it's not new anymore, I mean it's been over a year, right?
Couple of
years now, so yeah, it's Art Center. So I've never been to a regional place, which I really want to go and see, but here's the second art center, that's what it's called, where you teach not just airbrush, it's much more than that, right? So it's
airbrush is a very small percentage of what we teach here. It's more of a broad spectrum of fine art, and for young people especially, it's important to try to introduce them to art properly with a positive experience.
Okay, and be honest, it's the second time we're here because first footage was with the camera was lost when we was first stop on our tour last year. We was out of Florida, just stopped here, but now we're back. Make sure to have some good material from here. And I see some changes. I think that was not like that. Is it painting over painting or what?
Yeah, we've added some things. Things moved around in the past couple of years. We've added some new images on the wall to inspire young people and also to demonstrate the range of art types of art we offer here, all the way from pastel to old master styles, to abstract, to impressionism, to photorealism.
Okay. But you're mostly known as an airbrush artist, right? So
pretty much, yes. So a lot of this is new to me too. But to help that, to fill in the gaps, so to speak, we've hired like 18 instructors here. So
18 instructors, pretty impressive.
It's an administration challenge, we'll say. But it's been good. We've had some wonderful people here, and they really round out the offerings of the school.
Okay. And as I learned not so far ago, you started as a t-shirt artist.
I did. I started as a t-shirt artist when I was 21 years old, worked at Myrtle Beach, and did that for about 8 years while I was trying to transition into becoming a commercial illustrator with the airbrush.
Okay. But that was a pretty good time, I guess. It's a Porsche time that you mentioned? You had a Porsche this time?
Yeah, Porsche.
Young man, a Porsche?
Toys, yeah. It was,
so it was pretty successful, I think.
It kept me off the street, you know.
Okay.
$1 a minute, maybe, you know. But it was good. The t-shirt industry at that time was really thriving, so I was busy, standing on my feet 14 hours a day, just continuously working. And I think that's carried on by a lot of other artists, you know, Pat Gaines and Terry Hill and some of the other artists out there still doing that, carrying the torch for it. I have to say it was fantastic training for me. I really learned a lot, not just about freehand airbrushing, but also about business. Because you learn a lot when you're dealing with the public, interacting with them, and I think it's good training. I think a lot of people would benefit from trying that.
And when you realized, okay, this is t-shirts, but I like to have some more details, let's say, in my work and start doing what you're best in.
Yeah, the t-shirt was good training, but it wasn't gratifying for me because I realized that I wanted to get to my level of detail. I wanted to make it smaller, and the fabric kind of limited me on how far the t-shirt fabric, of how far I could make the detail. The level of detail was kind of limited, so I wanted to transition probably when I was about 24, started transitioning over to illustration board and illustration paints and things like that.
And I guess that's the time when all these airplanes and other cool paintings came through.
Yeah, I was trying to create things that I thought were cool. I had no idea whether anybody else was going to think they were cool or not, but I just thought, well, let's try some special effects and see what the airbrush is capable of, and I tried to hone my photorealism skills. At the time, there was no connection to any other artist because we didn't have the internet, you know, we didn't have any type of school that was going on, and we pretty much kind of were on our own. We all were inventing the wheel, so to speak, because we didn't have that interaction with each other that we are able to enjoy today with the internet.
Yeah, internet changed a lot, and it's much easier now. And that's, so speaking internet, you have classes, I think, right from this studio, right, where you teach online?
Yeah, this is it right here. We teach online classes. We've got good internet here, so we're able to teach live interactive workshops here, 2-day and 4-day workshops, basically trying to show people how to improve their skill and raise their quality of their work to the next level.
And because before COVID, you used to travel a lot in Europe, and so now you gather all the students together.
Well, it was an odd coincidence because I decided to stop.
Yeah, no, you caused the COVID, I know.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, so I stopped touring in 2019. And because I wanted to do stuff like the school, I wanted to expand my school and how to do more with children and work with in more of a broader range of subject matter and mediums. So I announced in 2019 I was going to not tour for a while. So I mean, I'll tour again because I enjoyed it so much, but it might be a few years before I get back to that.
But you're gathering online all the students from Europe, I guess, and it's international students as well?
Yes, Australia, Russia, Europe, we're pretty much reaching out to everybody we can to have them enjoy the ability to learn from home. I mean, it's never going to be the same as in person, but during COVID, you know, what can you do? You might as well make the most of it, and this is the next best thing to it, I'd say.
It's a good alternative, and I never been part of your class, on online class, but do students, they hear each other when they interact? So
Absolutely.
it's like kind of
talk and joke around. The only difference is they're not physically present, you know, with each other.
Okay.
And the other challenge with online is it's difficult for me to see the progress, to evaluate what they're doing. So the way we've got around that is we've had the students email me photos of their work so I can zoom in and look at it and give them a proper feedback on their progress.
Yeah, guys, Dru Blair really can change your art. I was hosting one of the classes in Florida, right, in Tampa a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
it was great, and yeah, we're gonna do it again after COVID, though, definitely. And some little tricks I'll never forget, how you took on a piece of paper, ripped it apart, and here we go, the cloud, in like 45 seconds after that. So yeah, there's something there to learn from. Why don't I introduce you one of your teachers here? I think.
Okay, this over here is Sylvia. She is from Italy. She's classically trained in oil painting, watercolor, acrylic, and she took on airbrush a number of years ago before I met her. She owned an art school in Italy, and that's where I met her because she invited me to come teach at art school in 2014, I believe it was, October. Yes. So Sylvia, you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Well, yeah, I've been here in the U.S. for a while now. And I'm teaching this school, in the Blair School, Center for the Arts, sorry, Blair Center for the Arts. And I teach kids and adults. I do different techniques, so it's very fun.
Also, Sylvia is showing at galleries here in Charleston. She's in two galleries, the Sandpiper and the Dare Gallery.
Sandpiper and the Dare Gallery downtown Charleston.
She has both originals in photorealism, and she also does impressionistic pieces, and they kind of sell pretty much equally well. You know, it surprises me because I thought one might sell better than the other. But interesting enough, they both.
Yeah, we had the pleasure to see one of the galleries like last time we went out, and there's some of your artwork. Yes, definitely. We're Charleston. It's a beautiful city for all the galleries, and it was a pleasure to have Dru Blair as the guide for all the galleries. And yes, we saw some of your work there.
My originals here.
So I guess this is your corner, right?
This is pretty much. This is kind of like an overflow table, but we put these images up here to inspire young people. You know, I've got some old pieces that are kind of unfinished from the. You know, I teach old master style also. This is old Alma Tadema piece, and it never quite finished. This is during the class section, so it didn't quite get finished, but you can kind of get an idea how far we get in a few days. And we try to be true to the original as far as the way it looks and all that. And I combine the airbrush with traditional brush work to try to get the students as close as they can to the original painting. If you look behind the TV there's another painting that's fairly well known. It's an older painting.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Probably 1990, I'm going to guess. This is my friend Anthony Floyd. He's been on the cover of a few magazines, just on the cover of Airbrush the magazine a few months ago, and that's the finished painting. That's when it used to take me 70 hours to do a painting. Now it takes about 4.5 hours.
But it's the clouds we mentioned, and I bet this is not 40 hours. It's probably a couple hours, right? A few time. This is a couple hours, I think.
Probably maybe 3, depending on. I think I was shooting a video on it at the time, so I had to slow down and change lenses, change the camera angle, things like that.
Is it the clouds from Keith and Box?
It is actually, it's the original. Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah, so yes, you can purchase the whole kit and try to do something like that. Yeah, really impressive.
During the class, we don't really try to finish the painting. We try to get as much knowledge as possible to the student. We usually run out of time. We need a couple more hours, but I feel it's more important to teach them technique and why you choose certain colors than to try to rush to the finish line.
It's important not to finish a piece like that so you can actually see it's a painting, not a photograph.
Yeah, and here I'm using some of this, the texture stencils you can see in here where I'm actually taking different texture approaches to it. So you can see the effect that the stencils have on just a quick little dusting of it. That provides a foundation, like a subtexture, that enables you to make it look, make the texture a little bit easier and faster, and a little bit higher quality than if you try to do all this stuff manually.
So this is the main studio. How many rooms do you have here in the studio?
We can go in if you want to go and take another look.
Yeah, let's move the equipment and Okay, so we went to check the second studio, and a lot of going on here. My daughter, she got a class, just got a class. You happy with that? Excited? Yeah. Okay.
This Amy's a really, really good teacher.
Oh, you're
and she's
sweet.
very interesting too. Everybody loves her.
You're so sweet. Set the standard low, so then it's easier to.
You're going to be amazed and dazzled at the quality of work she
Alright, I
shows.
might squeeze 3 in here, so it's not as tight.
That is, it's a different kind of art, right? So clay with clay. What are you going to use for painting it? Are you painting yourself,
Well,
or
we'll let it
Dru Blair
dry
clay for
and
you?
then just acrylic. So this one, like I said, it doesn't get the shine when it's not in the kiln, where it gets shiny. But for the sake of, these are the students here. How old are you, Elisa?
6.
6. You're perfect age. So these are all kids that homeschool, and so a lot of them, they know each other and they work together. And I've taught with them. I guess it was 2 years ago before everything. And I like to 2 things, like artist spotlight, and then also the elements of art. We're talking about the 7 elements, and kind of we use those related to cooking, and like how you have ingredients to make a cake, but if you just give a bowl of sugar and flour and butter, it won't taste good. It's what you do with it. And so we kind of equate that to art. You've got line, shape, form, texture, and trying to just get them a little bit of education on what art is. So even like looking at that painting, what makes you attracted to that painting? There's texture, there's space, the composition, and so even, well, and at this age too, they're not inhibited yet to think that I'm not an artist. And we all have different skill sets that some are better manipulating and some are better at rendering and drawing. But if they can leave with just knowledge and like viewing art and having appreciation for different art, then I feel like then that's just as much part of my objective as them just doing something.
I'm the same philosophy about it. The process is more important than the end product in my classes, because that's why we don't finish the paintings, because I want them to learn the process and what's necessary to get to the finish line, not solely to sprint to the finish line. And I think that's the same philosophy I hold when I'm teaching as well.
No, I love what you're saying. The philosophy is great, and I now want to stay here and meet all the 18 great people working here.
We have incredible people here. I'd say Amy's probably among the top because she's really good at what she does. She's got a lot of experience, she's professional, and she plans very well for each class. Each class is unique, different. And she also slips in a lesson, an educational lesson that's not always related to art, but maybe history or about another artist's style and things like that. So they really benefit in a much more broader sense than just learning how to manipulate one thing. You can teach somebody technique, but aesthetics and beauty is a lot more challenging to communicate to people.
Yeah, I definitely love the colors in this one.
Yeah, really strong,
really strong
impressionistic piece. And with brushwork, she's bringing that side of work, because she's very versatile. She can do a whole range of different styles in here. And we like to have her demonstrate that in the different various classes that we offer here.
How many students do you guys have now?
About 1,900.
That's a big number.
It's pretty big.
It's impressive. So you're not joking about administrative and management tasks,
It's a challenge. It's pretty challenging. The city does most of it. She does a great job at that, at organizing, because you've got 18 teachers, 3 studios, different classes every single day, 1,900 students. So but it's all wonderful though. It's very rewarding. We get to interact with people and make a change or make a positive difference in people's lives, and that's the best part of it, I think.
You want to show us the last studio?
Yeah, we can take a look in the other one. Okay, so this room in here is where our youngest students come. And you see, so we've got some really small chairs for them, for really small. We started at 3.5 years old, and basically we call it the messy room, because this is where a lot of paint gets thrown around, and because they have a good time and expressing themselves. And we have a lot of the work on the wall. We haven't hung up yet. We need to hang these up, and drying racks and things like that for some of the 3D pieces that we have. A lot of paint. And we've also been lucky because we have a tremendous amount of paint from Createx. Createx give us a lot of paint. We're using that here. You can see we got some of the samples stored down here, some of the candies, and we use that in pretty much everything now. A lot of the kids enjoy using it because since it's water-based, it cleans up easy, and the parents like that. And of course, an abundance of it, a huge range of colors, and children are able to pretty much express themselves in many ways like that. We also have a TV here, and the TV is an audio-visual system. We use that when we were mainly wanting to keep more separation between people. Basically, we've got a camera, and the students can stay in their seat, and for up-close detailed images, they can see, watch the TV screen as the teacher works on something that's really small that might be difficult to access with a larger group of people. We usually keep the numbers here around 6 students in this class. So we have plenty of social distancing between them. Of course, during this time, they're all wearing masks and everything, and that's it.
But acrylic paint, do you apply this with airbrush or with just regular paint?
Well, the wonderful thing about that, it works extremely well for pouring. You know, the pouring where you're pouring different things into it. But they use it with a brush. They don't use the airbrush probably, but maybe 1% of our classes are airbrush classes here. The kids love it, but they're also the most popular classes we hear are drawing classes for children. I think they're a little bit intimidated about color. That's the only fear they have. I would think that everything else they have no fear. They'll pick up an airbrush, you know how it is, they'll grab an airbrush and go, a paintbrush, whatever. But they prefer to stay in the black and white realm. But here's a way we get a chance to introduce some color with some pouring techniques and some abstract pieces. Once they get more comfortable with it, we have them bring it into their realistic pieces that they made.
How those cordless compressors, no name, treating you?
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, that's what we use here for the kids, especially. One of the things I love about the no-name compressor is you can sit it down. Whereas with the traditional airbrush and the hose, you pretty much have to find an airbrush holder and you have to knocking it over and things like that. I love that because I use it, I set it down on the table and it stays on the table. And also it's self-contained. So the kids love that. When we have airbrush classes here, we set up the no-name compressors out with the airbrushes that we provide. And by the way, thanks for making those available to the world. And they've been a wonderful help for us. The airbrushes work well too. Kids love them. I don't think we have any airbrush pieces here. They don't because they like it so much they took them home with them. But we need to get next time. We need to see if we can snag a couple and put up on the wall so you can see what a wonderful job they did with the airbrush and compressor combination. Kids don't have that limit. They don't have any fear. They just jump right into it. Where the adults, they see an airbrush sometimes. You know how it is. The trick is getting them to pick it up. Once they pick it up and use it, then they're fine. But there's always that trepidation, that fear of messing up or making a mistake, and that holds a lot of people back. Unfortunately, it holds them back in art too, because a lot of people get rid of their fear. They could move themselves forward and do a lot more with their art. But kids don't have that limitation. They're unlimited, and they just grab things and go with it. Which is fantastically inspiring. As parents, you know how that is.
No, yeah. First of all, as a parent artist, and definitely technology. That's why we're trying to develop it more. It's really helped for new people to move into the hobby or profession for somebody and start doing some nice art. And so, for your own airbrush classes, like what you're famous for, all the super realistic detail form, do you teach classes here, or except for online?
The big room, and we bring in extra. We've got lights, but we're bringing supplemental lighting. We have silent compressors in there, and we pretty much teach it. But as COVID came, more and more people opted for the virtual classes. So what we do is we broadcast the virtual class at the same time we're doing the in-person classes. We might have 6 or 7 people in a physical presence, but there might be 20 people online following the class, and it's pretty challenging with the different time zones. That's been tough. Not for me, but I feel bad for the people in Australia or something taking a class and
midnight.
It's totally opposite hours. The same with Europe. We're going until 5 in the evening, and for them it's 1 in the morning or so, or midnight.
For COVID times, actually, I was really inspired by our setup we did for the Sun and Fun show. The air show. We had the outdoor kind of 4 easels where people can just try airbrush on all those compressors, and it was pretty popular. It's outside. You can breathe normal air, not be locked up with other people in the room and be all worried about COVID, and worked out pretty good. So really looking forward to do some more of open air events. If you guys want to do some training, intro to airbrush, just let us know. We're going to be traveling across the country and doing some live events.
Is there a way they can access to find out where you're going to be when? Is there an online place?
Shoot email, there's no online place because we're still kind of making plans depending on what actually opens, what closes. So it's not real straight, but shoot email to meet@spraygunner.com, and that's where we can respond, exactly where we're located and what's our next step going to be. So for now, we're just moving towards Virginia, going to New York, and then going to Connecticut. So that's the plan. I really appreciate you showing us around, Dru, your inspiration, and I still want to come and see your original place.
You'll love it out there. Plenty of land, wildlife. Your daughter will love it, your wife will love it. It's really, you see the stars.
My wife won't, but yeah, she's more like a city girl, but I will enjoy it, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be
I'll
fun. We'll
enjoy
have a
it.
good time out there for sure. We got 18 rooms, like a little hotel, 18 rooms. Have a cook. We're out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do but paint, eat, and sleep, you know, which is kind of like heaven for people because there's no distractions, you know, which I love that too.
No internet too?
No internet, no running water.
So, yeah.
I'm just kidding about the running water. But we do, yeah. The internet is, you know, real spotty, but you know, so there's no distraction. You know, the internet can be distractions. So you get on Facebook or one of these social media, you get sucked in. Next thing you know, 3 hours have passed, you've got nothing done. Well, there's not a problem in Blair, South Carolina, because you just don't have that kind of access. Well, the biggest distraction might be a deer or a turkey walking by the window or something, you know, like. But hey, I want to say I appreciate what you guys are doing too, helping move the industry forward. One thing I appreciate about what you're doing is you're innovative. You're trying to develop new tools and new devices, new instruments that we use that help make the airbrush world better. That makes a big difference, and I salute you for doing that. And especially in this world where a lot of people are scaling back, a lot of manufacturers aren't necessarily able to put the R&D into new products. So you guys are taking, you know, the lead, and I'm grateful for that. And as the rest of the industry is also grateful for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're trying to help, and we want to grow in industry. So it's it's really big world of airbrush, and not just airbrush, but art. I mean, I really appreciate how you mixing techniques. It's not like, you know, have to use airbrush all the time. Use brush, use other tools you have around, and just create an art, and we enjoy it. That's when you embrace. So yeah, go ahead and do some fun right now. Stop watching this video, go do some art. And I appreciate it, Dru. Thank you for having us. Yeah,
Good to see you, my
enjoying
friend.
it. Thank you.